Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay France and Hearts of Iron 4, number 26. We left off invading Colombia, and it's going moderately poorly. We do have a ton of troops just right there, however we were being attacked and just starting to make progress. Now that we've actually attacked, though, we made tremendous progress immediately. So it looks as though that invasion's actually going to go fairly well. At this point, this episode is really the final in our Hearts of Iron 4 France series, maybe our final Hearts of Iron series, at least for a little while. More likely than not, at least in single player. Just since the AI is a little underwhelming. I'm not going to get too into it. I've already complained enough in this and previous series. At any rate, though, we go ahead. We've conquered Colombia. Now we're going into the Federal Republic of Venezuela. Also moving forces over to the coast so that we can invade basically all of the remaining independent states in the world. And there we go, we've taken their capital. We're also going to go ahead and get naval invasions for the remaining allied states in the Pacific, move more of our forces over to various ports, and just get all the remaining naval invasions that we need to ready. We also have new groups of Marines, which is great. We can go use them to invade Iceland. And yeah, just keep up everything. We only have basically one continent and 3 island nations to conquer before we have finished our conquest of the world, and we may as well just get to it as rapidly as we can. So at this point it's really just mopping up operations. As I mentioned last time around, we are going to be going into Stellaris and continuing more or less this game being the world-dominating French as they lead the galaxy, or at least attempt to find their place in it, and hopefully carve a path through that. I know I had said that I was hoping to get that out on Monday, and you might be realizing, hey, this is coming out on Monday. I'll see if I can't piece it together so that that also comes out just very late, but more likely than not it'll come out on Tuesday. Sorry about the delays and all of that. At any rate, though, we are just about ready to start these naval invasions of the Philippines and other various areas, mainly New Zealand. The New Zealand one actually took off first, which I wasn't actually expecting, though I probably should have been. And it looks as though we can hopefully just land on several different places across New Zealand. We do have to fight one battle, although it looks like we're still winning that. We also just move our troops over across the various New Zealand countryside, just give them shift orders to go conquer everything, and there they go, they've capitulated. We also need to go to the Celebes Sea, so we do go ahead and do that, and that hopefully gets that invasion started. We're ready to invade Peru, but we're going to wait a little bit just so we can guide these invasions. The invasion of Iceland's also supposed to begin pretty much in just a single moment. And yeah, once these islands have all been conquered, and there we go, the Marines have taken off. Hopefully that'll be our one ever successful invasion with Marines. We do also go ahead and get some jet fighters and strategic bombers near the Philippines so that if we can't conquer all of their lands directly, we'll be able to just nuke them until their national unity drops so far that whatever areas we are able to conquer will be enough. Since I don't want to do any more naval invasions just because they take a weirdly large amount of time, and it's almost 1949 already. However, there we go, we've taken their capital, we're rolling across their countryside, moving into their southern island, attacking the Icelandic capital, which will hopefully bring them out of the war. And there we go, we nuke Cebu, however you want to say that, and they go ahead and surrender. With them, however, comes the entirety of the Allies, as we've finally knocked them entirely out of the war. So we can go ahead and just click through all of the states of the just tremendous number of allied states and just begin the process of taking all of their states. So it just kind of takes a while as we click through it all, and it goes and really just, grabs them all. We don't really have to worry about really anything since, we're the only country in the peace conference. So there we go, we double check that we hit take and not puppet, because that would just be a huge bummer to find out that we accidentally puppeted someone and thus undid our world conquest at the last moment in victory. Luckily though, none of that happened, so now we just have to deal with the remains of South America. And for that we do go ahead and just get our naval presence up throughout the various areas. We do still have these islands that we have to deal with, but we'll deal with them pretty quickly. And there we go, we're at war with Peru, just kind of charging on down. The dawn of the South American Confederation, so basically they've made a faction all their own now that the Allies have ceased to exist. Which, you know, is understandable, but what can you do? And yeah, we just start moving our forces on in a generally just downward direction, declare war on Cuba and all of these islands, Haiti, San Domingue. And yeah, go ahead and get our strategic bombers. One big issue that I've had is that there are just so many different groups of various fighters and bombers and other air units that we aren't really using at all, that just kind of exist and clutter up the air menu. We also do apparently make peace. We have to do it in 2 steps, but there we go. We've got Peru and Haiti. Somehow we managed to end our war with San Domingue, or the Dominican Republic, which is a bit unfortunate. The war with Cuba is still ongoing, though, and it looks as though we'll be able to just seize their capital and all their various territories soon. We are now also at war with various other South American countries, so we do just charge into them. We don't have an ability to stage a coup or declare war on San Domingue, the Dominican Republic, so that is a bit of a problem. We also do go ahead and just start sending all of our various fighters and bombers that we don't want over into just the United States in an attempt to declutter our air wings so we can create new air wings in various areas, like these strategic bombers and hopefully some jet fighters, but we're still having trouble finding jet fighters, so we just use interwar fighters. It's a bit of a process. At any rate, all we really need to do is get air superiority and get a strategic bomber around the continent, and there we go, we're able to nuke some just countries. There we go, we've conquered them. I believe that was Bolivia. We're also just rolling up and down through Chile, moving over to Paraguay, and yeah, just making it very decidedly clear to any and all of these countries remaining in South America that we're not actually here to befriend them. We're basically just rolling on through conquering everything left in the world. We also just nuke them because they're defending against us and we have enough nukes to do it. And there we go, we just nuke that area as well. I'm not sure if it actually has any benefit whatsoever on tactical battles, but we have enough that we can afford to just find out through the process of. It also lowers the national unity, so Paraguay goes ahead and just surrenders immediately. I believe we just declared, there we go, we just declared on Argentina. Everyone just capitulated since I believe we destroyed their confederation just now. And we also just kind of charge on through. We do use the occasional nuclear weapon simply because, you know, we can. Other than that, though, it's a very non-nuclear offensive since they didn't have their defenders in most of their countryside, and there we go, they've already basically just given up. We can also declare this new war against San Domingue, which is great, and we just kind of charge on through, and they surrendered. So, hooray, go us. Another peace conference. We're also charging into Uruguay now. And we're going to get all of our forces ready for the invasion of Brazil. I really imagine that Brazil will have the stiffest resistance of all of South America. So we're going to try to have to just get everything organized to deal with that. We do go ahead and annex everything, and now all that's left are the Brazilians. And unfortunately, since all of the wars have ended, world tension is back at 0. Which means it takes us something like 180 days, or maybe 300 days, something like that. It'll be ready by like April of 1950. So for a very weird and almost certainly terribly awkward amount of time, there are 2 states left in the entirety of the world. There is the victorious French Republic, who has conquered every other state. And then there's Brazil, which has just kind of chilled around and done their own thing. Just been peaceful, watched it all happen. So if I was a Brazilian right now, I'd be kind of curious how long the peace would last, and more than a little unwilling to, you know, just believe that this whole independence period was anything more than just a transitory state. We do watch that kind of go. It's going to go on April 19th. Of 1950, weirdly enough, one day before Hitler's birthday. We do go ahead and move towards democracy, since, really, what is the point of fascism in a single world state? Who are we going to fight? Admittedly, Stellaris brings up an answer to that question. But we could go ahead and become a democracy. Maybe a kind of like apartheidish South African democracy, where just French people are, you know, properly represented and everyone else not so much, we also do go ahead and build up a ton of additional nuclear reactors, go ahead and ensure that we have power and whatnot for basically forever. We do also get the France First national idea, which allows us to create our own faction, which, I guess is kind of pointless since we're going to be the only state. So yeah, we move a little bit towards democracy. For role-playing purposes, I guess we could say in Stellaris that it does end up working, or maybe we'll just be something like a military republic, a military dictatorship, something along those lines. Maybe even just a straight-up empire, since that is more or less what we actually are now, and is it really too far of a stretch to go to imperial rule after a period of fascist dictatorship that conquers the whole world and has the support of an army that is really the only army left in the world? Who is really to say? At any rate, though, we do go ahead and discuss things internally. So it won't be a move to democracy led by the people. It'll be a move to democracy led by and for the upper echelons of the regime. At any rate, though, we do go ahead and declare war on the Brazilians. We go ahead and move some ships and some planes, just get everyone everywhere we need to, get some air superiority everywhere, get it so that if we need to or just want to, we can use our atomic weaponry to end the war relatively swiftly. We also get some jet fighters so we can get air superiority over here. And there we go, our armies are just kind of rolling on through. We do go ahead and just begin nuking, since we have something like 45 nukes that we, are bringing that number down pretty quickly. And we just go ahead and, instead of seeing this end with a whimper, we end it with several nuclear bangs. And there we go, we've won the war, conquered the entire world, and now set up a firm and steady foundation for the French Empire or French Republic or somewhere in between to go ahead and guide its way, fascistly but with a trend towards democracy, into the future, into the galaxy, and into Stellaris. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a fun series to make.